beauties, Rosie here from rosypena.com. Today I'm going to do a quick video sharing with you all my favorite sewing tools. So these are all the tools that I like to use as I'm making a garment. So the first piece that I want to get into is actually my favorite piece. So this is called a clapper. If you have never heard of it, it sounds really funny by the name, but this is basically just a wood block and it has this handle on it. And what you do is once you've sewn a seam, you want to press it flat with your iron and then you want to hit a little bit of steam on it. After you hit the steam, you just place this clapper on top of your seam. And you'll notice that once you take the clapper off, your seam lays so flat and so nice. Once I discovered this, I could never put it down. I use it in all of my projects. So I've had this for quite a while now, but I actually did keep the box for it. So I purchased, it's just this 2-in-1 tailor board, and then it has the clapper as well. So here is the tailor board. So what you use this for is obviously when you're tailoring, and it just has all these little like round edges or pointed edges that you might need to use. So you place your garment in there, then you use your iron and you're able to get into all those little corners and all those little pieces. So if you can get your hand on a clapper, I definitely recommend this product. So you're just going to have a lot of nicely laid seams. So sometimes you'll notice whenever you press a seam, your edges still want to kind of like curl up, and then it makes it kind of hard to work with. But with the clapper, you'll know that your seams are laid nice and flat. You can also use this pressing your hems or anything like that. It's a really great tool and I highly recommend this clapper. So since I got into pressing tools, I'll go ahead and just jump into this. This is called a seam roll. A lot of you guys have probably heard of it. Some of you may have not. So you can just purchase this at Joann's Fabric, or you can purchase it on Amazon.com. So you can use this for pressing out your sleeves and things like that that have more of like a rounded shape to them. You want to press things that have curves to them with something that is curved. And I saw on Instagram that this piece here, the top, is actually for wool garments, and then this other side I guess is for all other garments. I actually just always have used this wool side. I thought this was just the top and this was the bottom, but apparently this is for wools and this is for I guess all other types of fabric. And with this, you can also purchase a tailor's ham, which gives you the same effect of just pressing garments out that have curved edges to them. So like a princess seam, you can lay this on there really nicely, or maybe the pants along the hip curve. It will lay really nicely on top of this tailor's ham. So yeah, I do recommend these two products as well. You do have to purchase them separately, or at least that's how I purchased them, was separately. I'm pretty sure you might be able to find a set of them maybe on Amazon. So moving on to kind of cutting and I guess marking tools. One of the things that I really like is tracing papers. So you'll use this a lot whenever you need to transfer markings from your pattern piece to your actual fabric. So the tracing paper that I have found to work the best for me is actually this one. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Sirral. So I will link to this product in my blog post to the video, but this is just transfer paper. And I actually got the sampler pack, so it has all the different colors, but I think you can actually purchase a roll of this on Amazon. The reason why I'm recommending this specific one is because I have used several different brands of transfer paper, and this is the one that has worked the best. Markings on pattern pieces are so important. You need them. So whenever you have a transfer paper and you're not able to mark your markings on your fabric, you'll notice whenever you come to the construction process that you're not able to line up things correctly because you can't see your markings. But with this one, I've noticed that it works the best. And the tool that I use this with is just my tracing tool. This is a ergonomic. So usually you'll have a tracing wheel and it's just like a stick, but this one kind of has like a little angle to it. And it just makes it easier for your hand as you're doing the markings. It also has like this nice little groove for your finger right here. And it sounds kind of funny, but this tool actually does help a lot whenever you're transferring your markings. It makes it so much easier on your wrist, especially if you do a lot of sewing. You might want to invest in an ergonomic one. So the next kind of marking tools that I have to talk about is this tracing wheel. And this you can actually find in your quilter section at your local sewing supply store. So it's just a chalk roller like it sounds. It has a little fill in there of chalk, which you can buy refills for this, so that's really cool. And this brand is actually by Clover. And like I said, you can find it in your quilting section at your local sewing supply store. So this makes it nice whenever you're kind of wanting to just draft onto your fabric. You can use your ruler and just use this as your marking tool. So this tool is really handy for that. And then the next thing, this is actually a new find for me, and it's just a pin. And I've never thought to use a pin for a marking tool, but this one is by the brand Frixion. Pilot. Like I said, I'll link to it in my blog post, but this is just a pen. You can find it in your stationery section at your local Walmart or your Office Depot or something like that. So I've actually been using this recently to just mark my notches. Sometimes I don't like to clip into my actual fabric. I want to just, you know, make a quick marking. So this tool has been really helpful for that. It's supposed to just be able to remove with heat, but I do recommend trying it on a swatch first. But I found that a lot of seamstresses do actually use this. So it is a nice little tool to add to your sewing collection. The next item that I have to share with you is actually just this rotary cutter. I'm not a scissor girl. I cannot for the life of me cut out a pattern with scissors. That is so cool to all of you seamstresses that can. Personally, I cannot. I've tried it, so I prefer a rotary cutting mat and a rotary cutter, but specifically this smaller one. So this is a 28mm size rotary cutter. And when I first started out, I was using a standard, I believe it's a 45mm. So it was a larger size. So with that one, I found that it was really hard to kind of get into the curves of the pattern piece. So once I discovered this smaller one, I rarely ever use the larger one that I have. I only use the larger one whenever I want to cut just a straight line. But this one is perfect for whenever you want to get into the curves. So if you prefer a rotary cutter as opposed to scissors and you don't have a smaller one in your sewing tools kit, I definitely do recommend this 28mm one. And I do believe they actually have one a little bit smaller than this, but this one I find works perfect. So the next item is really pretty standard, but I just wanted to talk about it anyway because some of you might not have heard of it. So this is a seam gauge. This should come standard in your kit. And the reason why I'm talking about it today is because it's one of the tools that I actually find I reach for the most. So sometimes you just need to figure out a quick seam allowance, or make sure you're using the correct seam allowance, or whenever you're pressing up a hem, you can move this little notch to a 2-inch hem or a 1/2-inch hem or whatever hem you're trying to press up. This tool comes in absolute handy for that. And like I said, this is one of my most reached for tools in my sewing supply. So this next tool is called a Bodkin. If you've never heard of it, this is used for attaching to the end of an elastic. Let me grab an elastic. Okay, so all you do with this bodkin is it has this little rounded tool down here. So whenever you pull it closed, your bodkin will be shut like that. But whenever you pull it open, it obviously opens. So what you'll want to do is you just clip it onto the end of your elastic, pull this little circle down, and it closes it. It holds onto your elastic. So I use this a lot in my Vogue pants because you need to insert several pieces of elastic into the casings that you. So this is a tool that I like to use for that. There are several other tools that you can find. A lot of people will also tend to use a safety pin, which that works totally fine. You can use a safety pin to just hook onto the end of your elastic, but this I find works really great, and I think I only paid maybe around $2 for it. So it's absolutely a great tool to have in your kit as well. So this last tool that I want to talk about is actually maybe pretty cheesy for some of you, but I find that it really helps me out a lot. So I've heard from other seamstresses that they hate searching for their scissors or trying to find their scissors. I can't find my scissors. Where are my scissors? And I've been there. I've done that. So what I do is I actually purchased this, or no, I don't even think I purchased it. I just had it lying around. So this is just your typical like a lanyard thing. You just put it around your neck. I actually attach this small scissors, and these scissors are actually a favorite as well because these are not your typical just snip scissors. They actually have a bit of a curved edge to it. I don't know if you can see that. So these are just curved scissors, but these scissors come in absolute handy whenever you are trimming your seam allowances. So a lot of times whenever you trim your seam allowance, sometimes you'll find that you accidentally snip into your garment. But this tool really helps because it has that curved edge. So you'll want to snip with the curved edge towards the garment and the pointy side of the scissors away from your garment. That way you won't accidentally snip into it. But like I said, this just really comes in handy because a lot of times you can't find your scissors. So anytime I'm sewing, I have this around my neck. That way I know if I need to make a quick snip on thread or a seam allowance or anything like that, I'll know that I have my scissors with me because it is right here around my neck. And I'm sure you can find a cute one to put on. I just have the simple basic one, but I do highly recommend that, especially if you have trouble with finding your scissors as you're trying to make garments. Okay, so that is it for this video, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you might have found some tools that you have never seen before. Let me know in the comments what your favorite sewing tools are. Go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoyed this type of video so I know in the future what to do more of. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!